Okay, so I'm gonna just do a little recap on what I was saying before in the other three videos. This is the fourth and last one I'm gonna do on anything about the tourist field and law, being at the essence of our law for a while, and I'm gonna leave it alone. So there's other topics and other things that we need to discuss. We need to move forward. Things are moving fast, so here we go. Um, yes, the tourist field is at the basis of law that is being executed today. And speaking of today, today is February 1st, 2020. And my name is Kenneth Wesley Peters. I am the sole representative of the name and have sole claim on the name Kenneth Wesley Peters. Also, I am doing business as Kenneth Wesley Peters. In this recording, all rights are reserved by me, the author. You can see my face in the camera as I'm speaking right now. All rights are reserved by me. My name I stated previously. Any print rights are reserved by me, the author. And any duplication, copying, or reproduction of this recording is prohibited by me, the author, Kenneth Wesley Peters. This recording is strictly for copyright purposes only. Okay, and just to to make my disclosure clear, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not licensed as an attorney or a lawyer. I have not passed the bar exam. I am not legally or lawfully uh, able to practice law in a federal court or any state courts, of that matter, as a licensed lawyer. Okay. Um, Also, these are what I'm stating today are theories, uh, not necessarily etched in facts. Uh, these are our own beliefs and what we're going from with the group that I am representing called the of-AltLaws. That's capital A, lowercase lt, capital L, lowercase aws. That's outlaws. And it's a short, really, name and abbreviation for the alternative law group. I think it's a proper term for what we are studying and what we are exercising um, in our interests and in our affiliations amongst the members of the Outlaws group. All right. Um, and as far as um, the legitimacy of what we're stating, we're just going to say that a fact is a fact until proven otherwise. Enough said. And it was explained in other videos, so we're moving forward. And once in science is random, twice is uh, a coincidence, and three times is a pattern. And in this torus field, we can show many patterns in many instances of things that in the natural world, and even in the being produced in the artificial world to represent and pay homage to the torus field and the solar system. We can also get into how a bit about the zodiac and the astrological calendars are being used as well to sort of predict what is the outcome of these events that are taking place. But I'm not a master in astrology. I know enough about it to know that I can give a certain uh, accreditations to certain things and aspects of it as far as my understanding of it goes. Um, so, so yes. So to state quickly, yes, the torus field is moving in It's self-generating energy moving in this fashion. It makes the I think it's called crazy bird eyes. And down through the center is the north polarity. Uh, the energy is being poured into divergence back into the system, uh, and it is churning out to a bottleneck point where stillness may occur, was where we believe that the period occurs. If you look at a ruby red apple, as we spoke into the other video, you find the seeds that lie at the center of the apple. If you slice it in half, you see the root, you see the stalk, you see the center where the seeds are impregnated inside of the apple of the womb, which is considered the womb. And then you have the meat of the apple, which expands out as it grows and fills in and creates the roundness of the apple. It takes the trek of seemingly the torus field would take. This just is a natural example. We can do this with many other fruits, by the way, as if you're looking for a pattern. And by using fruits and vegetables, even in one previous video I did, I showed some demonstration of this where, I didn't give a full explanation, but it was more so done for someone who knew what I was actually point I was trying to make. And I saw where, I would probably have to do a little more explaining so that the average person can understand where I was going with that. Okay, but in the video, Purple Ma'at, I did. You can check it out. You will see me. I'm holding up a purple cabbage leaf. They call it red cabbage. I call it purple because that's what it is. And it's a purple cabbage leaf. And if you look at it, you see the veins of the cabbage leaf are sprouting out and up. This was the example that I was trying to give in the previous video when I was saying that everything's moving south when it leaves from the north polarity or center of the polarity. Now, if you're going down straight through the earth, down to the south polarity, now you're moving down south. You see, that's down south, moving in a down direction. But if you're moving on the plane, you're moving south. Now you're either on the east side of south, or you're on the west side of south, or somewhere in between. But you're not moving east or just moving west. This is where the deception has come in. You see, and what I am actually proposing, what we're proposing over here, all right, is that one has been deceived as to how to understand direction. Not only that, time. The Ethiopians celebrate New Year's at a different time. They celebrate the birth of Christ at a different time. Who's right? So in America, the time that we're moving in, we don't even, because Flavor was asking, do you know what time it is? And the answer is no. Just like the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? No, absolutely not. The answer is apparent. If you're active in whatever it is you're studying or learning, then you're probably going to be better at it than somebody who's not. Whether you're grown or not doesn't matter. Grown folk are the biggest fucking idiots moving around on the fucking planet. And then the youth have zero respect for elders who have done it and done it long before them and fed their asses. That's what you get there. So now, the torus field is at the essence of the generation, the continued generation, or the generating of energy, right? Which is godly. So then you have the settler. Why is the torus field the settler? Because it's ever generating the energy, right? And magnetic electro energy is what is at hand in the ethos, or the static, the invisible dark matter that they keep talking about. You know what I'm saying? Forever, it is forever uh, uh, propagating as the screen. Okay. And then carbon and light comes in due to the frequency or sound effect that is taking place and resonating. And if you have the right resonating frequency, this material turns into clarity, which we are referring to as light. Now, it can become unclear by becoming too bright. But one thing you must understand, white is not necessarily either clear, clarity, or bright. Now, there can be white in light, but one cannot give white kingship to light by saying that white is light. That's where the wordplay comes in that is so confusing the people. And when we talk about black, there is no color black. I'm not twisting my tongue or even afraid to say one of the things that I'm most clear about with a question mark is still, because that's how we rock. There's no color black from what the educational materials I've been given in high school, junior high school, elementary school, college, any type of project. You go into the hobby shop and get a project to study or take a look at. How do you arrive at the color black? There's no color black to arrive at black. You see what I'm saying? You're using red, blue, uh, yellow, green, and you're mixing these colors to arrive at what is now dark. Black is a word that was co-opted to hijack what is really truly just dark, so that black could be pitted against white, the color. And see, when you play a dead-headed fucking game called color, right? Uh, you get what you deserve, as Sebi would say. You get what you deserve when you play that game. It has nothing to do with what those at the top of the pyramid are really interested in, and that's lineage and blood relation. Okay? So now, what does this have to do with law? Well, what's important is this. If you're looking for remedy in law, you must do as what's natural to law. I mean, what's natural in nature. When you deviate from what's natural in nature, you are in violation of law. It's as simple as that. It does not matter what man has decided to script or scribe into a space and time, their interpretation of what needs to be exacted as far as law is concerned. That is a fucking deviation. It's as simple as that. And if you are performing with precision, with perfection, or positive, let me say, let me get off of precision and perfective. I don't want to use those words. Positive performance. If you're moving with positive performance to do good things in your health, good things in your life, good things in your experience in life, then any corrupt system of law goes away and the law will protect you. This is natural law. This is natural law. This is the difference between an artificial construct, you know, like a city or state with statutes and ordinances, uh, acts and titles, right? Who are in code, UCC. Okay. Now, what happens is this: if you are to know the law, but every day the law changes in such magnitude that on the conscious realm that one exists on this plane of existence in this space and time cannot consume or does not conveniently consume all of that information on a daily basis in order to keep up with what it is in exact. Nature doesn't do that. Nature already has its pre-programmed information there in default as to how one is to govern oneself upon the earth. Jesus is the metaphor or representation of, not to say that there was not a real Jesus. I'm talking about the actions of Jesus represents natural law, what is natural to the earth. And if the idea is if you do that, then you will reap the benefits of the settler of the trust, the settler of the whatever is valued for there to need to be a trust even in the first place. It could be a company that one the group may think that involved that the company is going to be fruitful, or it could be a portfolio of assets. But if the trust is created and the torus field is creating the energy, it is giving the energy, the magnetic energy, and the sun is passing over, providing the light, providing the nutrients, providing the clarity for one to see objects, for one to see color, for one to see depth in objects that correspond with one another, and see what it is they're inside of or acting in or about. There you have a trustee in Jesus. Trust in Jesus, because Jesus is going to lead you to heaven, to God. Okay? What part? What do you mean, Kenny West? What part do your monkey ass not comprehending right now? What part of your inner neurological system I'm not tapping into right now? Now, if you scared, say you scared. But don't sit there and try to hoodwink me as an idiot or somebody fall out in left field. Well, because see, I don't mind operating out in left field. Because usually that's where I'm dropping dimes and got your mama with a big old smile on her face. Talking about, there you go, baby. Come up in here with that. Jesus, you must trust that. Now it's right there in your face. Don't get mad at me if you missed it, sucker. Now who's the beneficiary? Well, the Father, the Son, you have the Son, and then you have the Holy Spirits. Is it spirit or spirits? Because if it's the latter, then as the spirits or the people, in this case, outside of the, what is the, in law, we will call the corpse, the vessel, the corpus delicti, but then there's the spirit, isn't there? So the corpus delicti is the living, but the spirit is existence because it's continuously exiting from. Okay? In the conscious realm, you're headed south. But at some point, one will turn to head back in reference to the Taurus field, or God in this instance, back to divergence, back to the North Pole, and then rebirth and reincarnation once again. This is a reciprocal system of law that is being governed on the ground, on the plane of planet Earth, in the industrialized countries, in the industrialized world today. It does not matter where you go in the industrialized world, in the leading countries in this world. It's the same pretty much thing. And the ideal, the most highest delicacy on the list of the prison and reform system is the highly melanated being walking around here on planet Earth. And if you wonder why you didn't do something that you did, Jamie Foxx just put a movie out, the best piece of acting I think I've ever seen him do, about this very subject. Wall to wall, purple people holding up the housing industry all across the plane or planet. Even the white, so-called darker whites are more apt to be in prison due to the science of the melanin that is occurring. Yes, vampiric. Vampirism is exactly what I'm talking about. The consumption of human energy. Not just human energy, though. Also, the natural kingdom and the animal kingdom makes representation to only the strongest and the most will survive. This is a rule of nature. Who am I to deny it? You know, I ain't running scared from the rule. So any rate, the more, this is the thing, the more you can cross correlate different aspects or different subject matters, like an apple, slicing an apple in half and showing the outline of the Taurus field and how it looks as it's taking its trek around through the planet Earth and around again. It makes the out shape of an apple or a woman's booty. Not to be facetious, but it is exactly what it does. It makes the outline of the bumblebee, of the queen bee, and I like to say, right? It, when you begin to unravel the riddle, things just go fall in rhythm. They begin to fall in rhythm. For instance, I said before in a riddle, in a prison, and prison is close to prism. I could even say in a prism because you got the colors that are capsulated inside of the prism. There's a lot going on in the prism. It's quite funny how prison is so close to prism. But in a prison, there's a jail. And in the jail, we have a cell. And within the cell, there's a battery of fellows who fell. Now, the other way is much longer, but I just cut it down short because it gets straight to the point. This is what's happening in a physical, man-made system. Man is consuming upon himself. And yes, we are the living dead. We are considered the living dead because we are living, or our eye viewing again. What are we viewing again? Another conscious reality, another experience. You're drunk and stupid on living in the conscious. Well, who are you to say that? I'm the master teacher over in the falls. You come over to 24, I'm dropping downs without looking. I'm that dude. Can you explain that? I'll wait. If you can't explain that, if you can't demonstrate it, who are you to speak on it? Especially when someone is standing there who can demonstrate it and demonstrate it quite easily, quite effortlessly. All one has to do is to be knowing, in the know, that being in conscience is what's moving south. But being in one's inner self is definitely moving north. Forget about East and West. You see, family, East and West is the deception to deceive you, to throw you off, my brothers and sisters. He allowed me to rescue you. In your vision, seeketh, look to the sign of the question mark leading south. When you get to the end of the line, you see the period is separated from the rest of the land. Oh, he cannot get there in this direction. He has been misled. One must turn and return their trek north, back to from whence came, back to the purple river, back to the womb. Now, they have all kinds of movies that demonstrate this. The Journey to the North Pole. As a matter of fact, rather than get into the Wizard of Oz and all these kind of films, because they've been spoken about many times by many people. I actually think that the movie Zardoz was interesting. Even when I was like 13 or 14 when I first saw it, it blew me away. And then now later that, I know the OZ has some meaning to it and the symbolizations. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't know how to really read, like Taj Bey said. I don't either. What I do know is that I know enough to know that I know very little. And that's way more than most of the people that I'm talking to. Way fucking more. Because when you start looking at having information and knowledge about what's really happening or whatever, or getting closer to, Started to realize just how much more, or just how far gone most people really are. Most people and hoes are looking for a Mercedes Benz rather than someone who's clever in order to get the gains in what one seeketh, to forego a fucking time bomb, right? A corrupt, Satanist, encrypted vehicle like a Mercedes Benz. You see what I'm saying? It's a moving, like it's a moving death machine. You see, because it's autonomous. It's somebody else at the wheel. It's something else at the wheel at any given time. Your vehicle can be taken over and driven off a cliff. Did you notice they drove the little boy off the cliff that hugged the white policeman down there in Ferguson? You think everybody forgot about that? They said the lady drove the car off a cliff. I don't know. Vehicles are being used as weapons now. Now, when I see a car pull up to a stop sign and I meet that car at the stop sign walking, I'm telling them to go ahead. And listen, I don't cross the street in front of nobody's car no more. Because I don't know what the fuck is on people's minds. So you take your vehicle and go, because I'm on foot. So you win. I'll wait. But okay. That's 32 minutes, y'all.